So the last time I had my tractor out with the snowplow, I had some traction issues, and I decided to get some tire chains. I looked up the cost of tire chains, and it was kind of expensive for this tractor, so I just decided to make my own. Now, a traditional set of tire chains has a cam mechanism that tightens up the chain, but when I got online, was looking at some other tractor tire chains, they had some springs and bungee cords and all kinds of things to just snug them up. So I just chose to use 2 sets of really good bungee cords to tighten them up, and this actually works amazingly well. This tractor does not get stuck anymore. The tire chains have been awesome, and I want to show you how I made those. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do is measure your tire to see how much chain you're going to need to buy. And what I did is I wanted my chain to ride a couple inches above the rim because someday I'm going to restore this tractor, and I really don't want my freshly painted rim to be beat up. So keeping the chain somewhere a couple inches above the rim will prevent that, and right where this line was seemed like a good spot for me. So I took a tape measure and I measured across that. Came up with 30 inches, and I multiplied that by pi, 3.14, and that'll give you the total length of what this chain needs to be. And then remember, you want to add some extra chain links to that. That way you have some adjustments, and if you get a tire of bigger or smaller tread later on, it'll still fit. So I just added 10 chain links. That seems like an awful lot, and you might want to make it a little smaller. But that's what I added because I just plan on zip tying the excess chain links off to the side every time I mount my tire chains. So after you get that long chain calculated out, you obviously want to multiply that by 4 if you're doing 2 drive tires. So you'll need 1 on each side of each tire. So multiply it by 4, add that up. That's the first number you're going to put down. And the next thing is how much chain you need from here all the way around to here. And that was really simple. I just took a measuring tape and I just bent it right around to where that line was. And I came up with 15 inches. Multiply that by however many ribs you want on your tire. In my case, I wanted 20. So I multiplied that 20 by 15 times 2 because I'm doing 2 different tires. Added all of that up, and it ended up being less than 100 feet of chain. So I just went to the store and I bought 100 feet of chain. Now, I was able to source my chain from a local big box store. It was actually Menards. They had a sale going on that if it fit in a grocery sack, you got 15% off. The chain was priced okay. I think I might have actually been able to buy it a little bit cheaper if I shopped around or went to someplace like a Harbor Freight. The quality of the chain is probably, again, okay. But in this application, these chains get beat up and they rust up over time anyhow. So the quality really doesn't seem to be that important. At least that's my opinion. Now, these chains are 3/16, and there's 50 feet in a bag. I got 2 bags of them. So each bag should cover a tire with a little bit extra chain left over. The way I've been cutting these chain links, I've been sticking them in a vise, and I've been using a 4.5-inch angle grinder with a cutting disc. And basically I'm cutting right through the existing weld and cutting one side of the chain link open. Now I like to take a screwdriver and reach back in there while it's still stuck in the vise and just bend the link out of the way just like that. You want to bend it just enough so your chain link can come off. And then you're going to keep these chain links because you're going to use them down the road when we put all this stuff back together. So don't throw them out. Keep them, pile them up. We'll use them later. Now, after you get all the chain links cut, and you get all your pieces cut, and you get all your runners cut, then you lay them out, and you put all the chain links in, and you rebend those chain links so they're almost complete, and then you have to go weld them. Reassembly of the chain links is pretty simple. You just have to close them back up. I've just been taking a pair of needle nose, and I've kind of been holding it on one end, and a hefty pair of pliers on the other end, and then I'm able to just bend them back. It's a little tough. It's okay. And we're not going to worry about this gap just yet, because we're going to put it in a vise and close it up, and then just give it a quick shot of a small bead of weld. With a loose vise that I have laying around, I take the chain links and I close them back up in the vise and I leave them. I clamp my ground clamp to it, and then I use some pencil rods and I close that little gap up inside the chain link. So once you have everything welded up, it's time to install them, and I installed them pretty much just like you would install any other snow chain. I jacked the back of the tractor up a little bit. I gave about an inch or two of space on the bottom so I could spin the wheel by hand. I laid the ladder rack of chain on it, and then I used some stainless couplers. I want to tell you why I use these stainless couplers. I was just kind of afraid when springtime would roll around, they would kind of rust up and I wouldn't be able to get them off. So I did pay a little extra money for stainless, and hopefully that helps me out in the springtime and I won't find myself cutting this off as opposed to just unscrewing it. Overall, it was a pretty simple build. I did zip tie the tail of the chain, the slack, up to a link up here so it wouldn't flop around. and the bungee cords seem to be plenty adequate to keep it tight. I did plow some snow with it earlier today, and it did a fantastic job. So if you like these types of videos, please like and subscribe. Take a look at some of my other videos, and you might find something you yourself might want to build.